I am Anthony Johnson, founder and CEO, and I thank you for taking the time to attend out of your busy schedules. And today's meeting serves purpose, which we have extended outreach to bring everyone together with a focus on connecting with a common goal of making a difference in the lives of others. Now, this gives perspective to our slogan of accomplishment. I must note that here, which is very enriching. And I will point out a little bit more about the slogan as we proceed. But the slogan is as follows: today is a new day. Today is a new me. Next slide. Now, for our time today, we will highlight history about our organization, provide an overview of programs and services, give perspective to getting connected and becoming a board member, detail expectations, which are very important as a board member, and provide information to initiate board member application and that process, and close with a Q&A. Next slide. So history, as you see here on the slide, we want to give point of reference to the scope of addressing life enhancement through, of course, mentorship, addressing the needs of individuals, families as well, and centered on internal growth. As we know, that is so important. It's not just a matter of rendering services and assisting others, but a matter of finding ways so that individuals can realize their capacity to have a successful life and definitely have sustainability in that success over their lifetime. So when we look at history, I must know where we started. Well, growing up and participating in community service events, it became embedded in me to devote attention to the needs of others above yourself. Now, with that and moving through my teenage years, I must note, have some time in now, I'm sure we all do, and into adulthood and into a career in financial management. The zeal for service in a different manner was pulling at me. And of course, it's a matter of several life events that pushed me into the direction to pivot and transition into the social services field. And so connecting with my wife, Cynthia, we began to gain a greater awareness with that transition of how organizations are structured and whether they be large or small. And so I had a calling, and that still is moving here today, and we continue to gain momentum in that call and everything that we are called to do. But I had to find something that was unique to the core of who I am, which is to uphold unity. And that's a core value of mine. And we know that comes through a view of families, which we know and understand that they're comprised of individuals. And so we all go through situations in life, but the difference from through GTLE is how do we move through situations and what assistance can we provide for people to have evidence growth for the betterment of individuals, families, communities, and of course, our nation. Now, we started in 2000 as Growing Through Life Experiences, a mentoring service. So we have some time in which we connected with youth, adults, and couples, providing practical skills and life enhancement. Then in 2004, we initiated our articles of incorporation, and we became incorporated through the state of Texas as Growing Through Life Experiences Incorporated. Now, under the classification, which is stated as follows, the corporation is organized and operated exclusively for religious, charitable, benevolent, missionary, social, civic, and educational purposes within the meaning of 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code. Now, after that incorporation, we moved forward with the process. It was a 2-year process to reach nonprofit status. And in 2006, we officially became a 501c3 organization. So commencing in 2000, I want to give perspective because we conducted several activities and provided assistance to families in the Texas area, and of course through across the state. But in 2010, we paused. Of course, I served as a uniformed service officer and had to relocate over the years for several assignments. And so we drew down on our funds, providing varied family assistance, and we became dormant. But we maintained our responsibility for annual federal reporting as a 501c3 entity. And so now, over this time, I want to note that we continue to assist other organizations, but not directly under the auspices of GTLE Incorporated, as I served as a self-development columnist for Ujima magazine in the state of Texas. And then also we conducted out of Phoenix, Arizona in 2012, a weekly GTLE radio broadcast where I presented practical skills for life enhancement from a faith perspective to an audience of over 20,000 listeners. And so exciting work that we continued in that regard to continue to build out what our ultimate goal definitely presents as today, to get back, reset directly in the operation. So in 2019, Cynthia and I, we were discussing several things, the kind of vision for the path forward, and we knew we needed to reset to get back active. And of course, in 2020, we proceeded to trademark our incorporated name and logo. Of course, I must note that our logo was designed by one of my undergraduate college roommates, John Jennings. He is internationally known. He's a graphic artist. He's a professor and consultant for major corporations, as well as some of the movies that have presented that you see through Marvel and some of the other comics as well. So we're excited about that. But of course, there is distinction with that slogan. And of course, we talk about it highlights our focus of life empowerment. I can't emphasize that enough. So, so from a history standpoint to present day, we now centered on resetting to begin conducting activities by restructuring our board so we can be able to assist with the needs that are before us. Next slide. So continuing with history, we see laid out mission, vision, and values. Now, our mission presents a commonality for all social service organizations, as we know, are guided by having an impact on life. And so we're here to engage in prevention and intervention services and serve as a resource for youth, adults, and families. But then you see our vision. We know vision is higher in. And when we structured this slide, wanted to ensure that vision was in the center, because indeed it is the eye of our organization. And this is what makes us unique as an organization. Now, we focus on experience. And experience means that that's how we connect with our service population. And we talk about experience, as we noted, that we all have a varied experience for our definition and how we really communicate what our life has been about and what meaning we have obtained from life. But experience is not only related to the acquisition of knowledge, but it's also centered on the development of skills through application. And that's what we want to be able to assist our service community to be able to reframe their experiences, whether they be challenges, so that way they can view adversity as an ally. This is so important because it becomes motivation for their path ahead. And so within GTLE, we serve as drivers for this motivation and to provide assistance as such. to be able to stimulate growth. And I want to note that I am very passionate, and everyone who knows me, I'm so passionate about growth and knowing that, hey, we have to remain and maintain this posture of optimism, and by bringing resources together so that things can happen for all of us. So empowerment is at the forefront to strengthen the communities as we talk about this, to be filled with cultural awareness and humility, where we assist each other to thrive. Now, with that, you see the vision, you see the mission. And of course, both of those are components are fortified through our value system, in which, as we talked about, being a resource, a conduit for information uh, with our service community, a goal establishment, and also goal achievement in life. Now, we value through GTLE, we value people. At the high end, we value culture, we value education, and also we value a connection so that way we can extend our heart to assist as we continue to reinforce to improve lives. Next slide. All right, programs and services. Just want to walk through this, just a quick overview here. We have here life coaching and mentorship, family assistance, relationship skill building, also family and marriage enrichment seminars, and scholarships. Now, I want to sort of back up here and really highlight what we were engaged in previously. And of course, we had youth empowerment events where we partnered with the YMCA and also other youth centers, and of course, youth were able to come as well as adults also, and we were able to provide individual engagement with them and education about life perspectives. Also, we were able to do some group work as well, and to provide varied assistance. And so what we did was we solicited volunteers, and of course, they were not professionals who were directly in the social services field. We talk about even on, our call here today, it was a matter of getting volunteers who have a passion for life and a passion for being of service. And of course, we know, we can't walk through life and not notice the needs of other people. And so our volunteers were able to come in and be able to assist in varied ways and to provide information. Many of them had families. Some of them not have kids of their own, but they were concerned about our community development and also about just overall family and being able to enrich families in a multifaceted manner. And so also we had our couples ministry where we brought couples together, those who were married and then others who desired to be married, and to help with fortifying and strengthening their relationships. Talked about life elements, conflict resolution, aspects of dealing with self-esteem, loss, grief, the full scope, if you will, that we know that would strengthen them not only personally, but also professionally. And then also we had marriage retreats and seminars as well to support those separate sessions that we were doing from a couple's perspective. And then also we were engaged in school supply drives. We partnered with a few schools where we would connect with the guidance counselor, and for the guidance counselor to identify, let's say, 5 students who had a major need for clothes as well as school supplies. And so we would actually pull that together, get their sizes, all of that good stuff, and be able to put a package together for delivery to the school and for those youth as well as and support of their families, because it was a morale building component. As we talk about, it's a feeder into their educational engagement. And many, as we talk about, many students today, they struggle with various limitations and they become isolated and feeling alienated. And so we want to be a part of assisting them in the furtherance of their life in a positive manner. And then this is what we have added and what we are moving towards here now is scholarships. We talk about education being significant and so important to me. And I know on this call, all of us, we have so many different degrees and we're operating at a high level. And so much of our work is centered on education, training, ensuring that there's learning, there's an environment that's conducive to growth and development in all of your various sectors of influence. And so we want to be able to provide scholarships through our funds for youth who are proceeding for and pursuing college studies, university as well, and also trade school. And we will have our formalized essay contest where we will actually do that and initiate engagement and determine the specific amounts for those scholarships that we would actually present. Next slide. All right, all right. Getting to the good stuff here, getting connected. We talk about this specifically as a board member. There are three high-end components to getting connected as a board member: community engagement, fundraising, as well as ambassadorship. And we see here that this is perpetual, cyclical, if you will. It's continuous as a board member. Now, when you talk about community engagement, it's a matter of looking at partnerships and being able to build partnerships with other organizations who present in a service-oriented perspective, really align with what our focus is. And then at the same time, vice versa, with connecting with other organizations so that they can be of assistance to us. And that's how we build community, and that collaborative engagement is a part of this community work as a board member. Also, when we talk about initiating groups and providing assistance by having events and facilitating events, board members through your subject matter expertise, being available to be able to provide knowledge and information in various settings, whether it be in person, if we set that up appropriately in the various locations, wherever that may be, and then also virtual, as we do so much now, as we know, in the virtual arena, we would do a lot of work in that regard. And we talk about here, even for example, health and wellness. As we know, health and wellness is not just about your physical health. You know, it relates to, of course, mental health. We also talk about your emotional health, also financial health as well. And so career development, that's a part of your health because it's like centered on your livelihood. And so these are the things that we want to ensure with your expertise to be a part of that facilitation. Then next, we talk about fundraising. I want to point out from a history vantage point, Cynthia and I, we have funded all operations from the start, okay? And so our focus in doing that was that we wanted to ensure that we had a solid foundation in our operations, and then we would move to the next step to solicit for donations in that regard from the community. And so as you note, from my prior verbalization of having to pause because of the uniform service engagement. We were at that point to do that, but we had to pause. But we knew that once we became active again at the appointed time, which is now, we would definitely proceed to the next step through our board member engagement to focus on fundraising and to acquire donations to be able to facilitate our operations and our service. And then one thing that we want to have as a part of that, we have a goal to have a gala, and an inaugural one, and then we can have that on an annual basis to generate support for going through life experiences. And then the next step as part of that as well, it could be before, of course, the gala, but then we will move forward to grants, being able to acquire grants in which we are aligned with those particular grants that are out there. I know, you know, professionals who are on the line today, you are familiar and you're seasoned in that. And so that within itself would serve purpose as a great asset to us in furthering our operations. Now, then we talk about ambassadorship. When you think about an ambassador, of course, an ambassador is deemed in high regard um, for a designated purpose to represent an organization, a vision, as well as a mission. And so, as an ambassador, a board member would have the role of connecting within your own direct personal networks to be able to advocate for GTLE support, also to solicit kind of expanded on that, volunteers and partnerships for specific initiatives that we together may very well think of actually putting into motion. And then also it could be a matter of soliciting support by way of partnership through acquisition of items or goods, as we look at family assistance and putting together packages for home supplies or what have you, being able to partner with some entity who has certain types of products where they can be of assistance and provide that, and then we can establish those relationships accordingly. Okay. All right. Next slide. All right. So as a board member, now this slide is a highlight of a key component, as you see here, expectations. Now, as there are more extensive elements to expectations, as a board member, as we talk about bylaws as well as organizational governance. But I want to give perspective to how we are structured as board members, and more officially the board of directors, as to the full terminology here. The infrastructure is 6 board members with 4 specific designations: president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. And then we will have 2 advisory / general board members who will have the unique responsibility of leading initiatives with the other board members, of course, or leading committees for specific events that we know we need a committee for this particular event. In that regard, it may very well be where you are connecting with volunteers who are a part of that committee to bring that initiative to fruition, okay, and to see it through, organize, coordinate, all of that. And also, it could very well be that those general board members be responsible for conducting research, out to where the needs are and see where we can be of service. What are the targets, okay? And really outlining those targets in respect to our service engagements up the road. Then also, a key element would be is to assist in program and operational evaluation. We want to be able to evaluate what we do, how we do it, and ensure that we are operating in a lane of excellence in what we do, and how we do it going forward. And so with that, I want to just highlight a few things, expectations here. You see, of course, commitment to the mission and programs. So that's still a part of the ambassadorship, as to what I noted on the prior slide. We talk about our meetings. Of course, the board of directors will be responsible for outlining our annual meeting calendar. And of course, that will be, really succinct and with schedules, all of the good stuff. And of course, in a virtual environment, we would conduct those. Then we look at financial affairs. As you see here, it notes understand and monitor the organization's financial affairs. And I want to put out here that we operate from a perspective of stewardship, okay, being good stewards in the management of assets and funds, to ensure productive actions that we're engaged in, and to the best interests of our service community and the organization. And then the last thing I want to highlight on this slide, out of the expectations, is about avoiding conflict of interest as a board member. And that centers on exercising good faith in organization actions, and not using a board member role for self-interest. Okay, that is very important. All right, next slide. All right, the next few slides, you will see, of course, we sort of pivot to the application. And so to move forward and formalize your interests, as a potential board member, there's a standard application process. And so we ask that if you desire to connect, go to the next slide here and serve in this capacity to access our website, gtle.org, and go to the Get Connected as you see section and drop us a line to request the application. Board member application. It includes your name, of course, email, and contact number, and then it will be disseminated to you